I want to today begin by, touching upon one more time my objective in doing these sessions and what I had in mind when I even uh, announced it. I think the objective I have in mind is to highlight and bring to our awareness the intimate presence of Shakti, especially in the context of the goddess energy, the way that we address and we celebrate during these Navaratris, you know, uh, various forms of Durga, various forms of Shakti, each one based on our background. Uh, we connect to these to the Navaratris from different perspectives. But what I had in mind is to bring awareness to the presence of this goddess Shakti in a very intimate way in our everyday life. In fact, every moment that we are alive, the presence of Shakti in our being. And over these 9 days, through these stories, sometimes directly, sometimes uh, meta- metaphorically, we are connecting to various aspects of the presence of Shakti in our life. So I just wanted to highlight that whether you are able to resonate with the stories that I share from mythology or not, uh, the offering I'm making here is to continuously keep bringing to the surface and acknowledging that that which we pray to as the divine, and we have, based on our culture, based on our traditions, we have earmarked these 9 days to give Shakti specific importance as a divine source. And I would like all of us to use this opportunity to acknowledge and understand that that divinity resides in us every day, every moment of our existence. So while we might use these sessions to bring it to the surface, to recognize it, to acknowledge it, my hope is that we are able to then continue with these practices, continue with connecting to our body primarily as the most intimate connection with the divine. As a matter of fact, the body in itself is the divine. And so hopefully we are able to connect to this idea and integrate it in the way that we do our practices every day, assuming that all of us have some form of a practice where we connect to a higher intelligence, higher power, where we connect to the divinity around us, in us. So if we have such a practice, then to integrate in the practice the recognition that we in our human forms are in fact divine. Each one of us is in fact the combination of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. That is the only way that we are here. And the breath and the body are the proof of this divine union. So in the way we are, in who we are, if we are able to, on a regular basis, acknowledge that divinity present in us and do our best to allow that divinity to come through, to shine through, and to make its presence felt in the world that we live in, through each one of us. I'm taking a little time to elaborate on the concept of these sessions today. It's also, I think, relevant to the form of the goddess that we will connect to today. You know, the world as it is today, in fact, right after this, I'm going to be connecting to another group that is where we're choosing to connect, to reflect, and heal from the unmentionable trauma that is playing out in other parts of the world. And if we are human, if we are sensitive human beings, we are bound to be impacted by the suffering, the pain and the suffering of other human beings. And there is so much of it playing out in every part of the world today. So if we cannot live as though it's business as usual. We cannot, meaning, if I would like to think of myself, if I believe myself to be a sensitive human being, it is very difficult to be, or it would be very unfortunate rather, if we have an attitude of apathy or carelessness towards the pain and suffering that's unfolding in such a large measure every day in our reality today. So, keeping that in mind, those of us who have the privilege and the advantage of not being right in the middle of those war situations, right in the middle of death and destruction, uh, of unthinkable deeds that are perpetrated even on young children. If we are the good fortune to not be in the middle of it right now, we have an obligation to do something about it from where we are. Because the truth is that none of us are in fact disconnected. We might seem like separate individuals in separate geographical locations, but energetically, it is the same Shakti which is in me, which is in the people who are there. It is the same goddess energy in me as it is there. It is the masculine in me as it is there. So, as Devis, as channels of Devi today in this group, and please remember, this is not, again, I'm saying it, it's not gender specific. We are all channels of Devi to the extent that we all channel energy, we all carry energy, we are all energy beings. So, to that effect, all of us are channels of Devi. Devi, we have evoked her, we have invoked her in her compassionate root, compassionate avatar, Chandrakanta Devi. We have invoked her in her avatar as a mother, Skanda Devi. What comes to our mind? And this is only an invitation I'm putting out there for whoever has joined me today. What comes to your mind as an act of compassion and motherly love that you would extend to other people on this planet who are going through severe pain and trauma and suffering, death and destruction? I invite you to awaken that part of you which has the capacity, at the very least, to send energies of prayer and healing and not move on through our life as though it is business as usual. So when we do these sessions, when every day I'm repeatedly asking you to invoke a certain kind of Shakti into you, see yourself filled with that light, filled with that energy. Believe yourself to be that form of the goddess as you invoke her into you. This is the way that we can anchor that divinity on this dimension. This is the way, in being channels of that energy into this world, we are bringing more of those qualities onto this planet. It might be only your context may be just your home. Your context may be just your own immediate family members. Your context would be all those places, all those spaces that you go to, carrying this divine energy awake and alive in you each day. So when we integrate this into our everyday practice and invoke these energies into us, and then we walk out to the various spaces which is a part of our context, the hope and the aspiration is we carry these energy into those spaces, and these energies will leave a certain kind of impact in those spaces. It may not be within us, for us even, to go out there right in the middle of strife and trauma and do anything there. It may not even be possible. But what is possible is to continually invoke divine grace, invoke the divine goddess, the divine God, be aware that we embody these energies in our own being, and engage with our space with the intention that these energies impact the spaces that we occupy. So, right now, the timing of it seems to be more relevant than, especially relevant because of the nature of the global climate, the global situation. So I just wanted to highlight this aspect before we get into deeper into the topic for today's session. This is in no way to dampen your spirits or dull the mood of festivity if that's what is happening around you in celebration of the Navaratris. The intention is not to dampen it, but it's just to say that while we enjoy and celebrate life, by our very presence on this planet, we have a responsibility, an obligation to give back to this planet what we receive from, to give back to life what we receive from life. And the best way that we can hope to do that is to invoke these energies and be channels of these energies in our respective context, in our respective spaces. So, whatever you do later this evening, tomorrow, the rest of the remaining days, whatever you do, however you enjoy the fullness of life, all of that is perfectly valid. Everyone here needs to enjoy the fullness of life in all its rasas, in all its flavors. But when we are aware beings and we are aware of the potential divinity that we carry in us, and we consciously acknowledge and appreciate and invoke those energy qualities in us, then just by our mere presence, we are making an impact, a desirable impact. So today's form of the Devi, it is very much related to what I'm sharing, what I have shared so far. Today's Devi is Katyayani. Katyayani has derived that name because of this story. Okay, this is the story that I know. Like I said, I'm sharing with you the stories that I have heard and I'm familiar with. So yesterday we spoke about Skanda Devi, and we spoke about how this divine child came into existence from sparks that came out of Shiva's face, and Skanda Devi was the mother of this divine child. But what is very interesting is that okay, this is as much as I remember, okay, from my own grandmother's stories. So please bear with me if I'm not giving you the full picture. Anyway, the focus is not so much on the story. The story is the fun part. what we do after that, I believe, is the more serious part. So the story can be whichever way it is. So apparently there were some stars in the skies, which is around the Kartik star, and there are six stars in the skies, and they happened to look at Skanda, when he came into existence. And these were divine beings, celestial beings, and all of them landed where Skanda was, and all of them wanted to be Skanda's mother. And all of them wanted him to suckle them. All of them wanted to nurture and care for him. So there were five of them who were there, all clamoring to be Skanda's mother. So apparently Skanda said, "Okay, I will create five more heads, so that each of you will have one child to take care of, in terms of one head to take one, each head representing a child. So all of you will get a child each." And he became this six-headed god that we refer to as Kartikeya. And Katyayani is actually the name of the collective of those five celestial beings who came to and volunteered to be a mother to Skanda. So that collective energy is called Katyayani. And that's the form we connect to on the next day of the Navaratri. We are going one day behind. I'll see if I can catch up before we reach Vijayadashmi. So that's the story. Now, what is the significance of these six heads now? Because in these stories, everything is a metaphor. It's not literal. So, what is the significance of these six heads that Kartikeya has? Five of the heads who were added later represents the Panchabhutas. So each head is supposed to represent one of the Panchabhutas. So when I'm talking about Panchabhutas, I'm referring to earth, water, earth element, water element, fire element, air element, and space element. These Panchabhutas come together to create the human form. We are made of the Bhutas, Panchabhutas, and you may have heard of this before or not. And the sixth head represents consciousness, Chintan. So it's conscious awareness combined with the five elements. And this divine child had come into existence directly from Shiva himself to combat the Asuras, Tarakasura and his team, let us say. There is a name, I forget their names. So the head of it was Tarakasura. So this six-headed divine child, which is consciousness combined with the five elements, came into existence to combat evil, Asuric forces. Asuric forces meaning, very loosely translated, we could refer to it as demonic forces, dark forces, evil forces. Now, who is that consciousness? Who is? Can you give me, any of you, what this could be? Consciousness combined with the five elements to create this divine child. What does it refer to?
I'll take a guess, but five elements are gross and consciousness is subtle. So,
Yes, you're absolutely right. Mohan has replied.
Yes.
Absolutely right.
Yes.
Every one of us is a combination of consciousness and the five elements.
So in the human form, Usha?
Yes.
Okay.
What other form, Nilima? When we say every one of us, consciousness and the five elements coming together to create the body and the conscious mind. So every one of us is the divine child. Every one of us has come directly from Shiva himself and is nurtured and cared for by the goddess herself. And the purpose of existence of all human beings, if we have to be really specific, as per our kind of spirituality and the traditions we come from, the purpose of existence for all human beings is to establish dharma. Discover what is dharma and establish dharma. What do I mean when I use the word dharma? Be sensitive, be present, and through sensitivity and presence in the here and now, make choices followed by actions that are right for me, right for you, and right for the context in which you and I engage. You could be anybody. So in the manner in which I conduct myself, in the choices that I make, in the decisions I make, exactly like Kartikeya, my divine purpose is to establish a dharmic way of life. Even if it means I will have to stand up and confront when there is something that is not dharmic. Of course, Kartikeya is representative of a warrior. He went into battle to kill Tarakasura and his team, and he was considered as a warrior leader. I mean, a warrior leader. I'm not suggesting that you and I are required to become warriors in that literal sense. In our own ways, in our own context, what is the discomfort I am willing to take on? What are the ways in which I am willing to get out of my comfort zone, even at the cost of my own discomfort, at the cost of my own uneasiness? Am I willing to take on and hold in place a way of being, a way of conducting myself, a way of life, such that in the decisions I take, in the actions that I do, in the way I engage with life, I'm constantly keeping in my mind if those decisions, actions, attitudes serve me, serve the other, and serve the context in which we engage. So today, yes, inner demons too, Mohan. We may not be battling it out there. What we end up battling outside are those demons that we were not successful in identifying, recognizing, and battling inside first. When we have not done those battles in our own mind, then they come into our reality, and then we end up battling them on the outside. But I'm not going there. That's another direction of thought, which is not in the scope of our conversation here. So basically, what I would like to bring our attention to in today's session is to acknowledge ourselves as that divine child coming directly from Shiva and Shakti, no less, and 6 sources of Shakti making herself available to us so that we are able to have a successful experience. Each Kartikeni is actually, like I told you, a collective of all the mothers who took care of Kartikeya. And broadly, we recognize them as representative of the 5 elements and consciousness. So when we connect to Kartikeni, when we pray to her, we are praying and asking for our well-being at all of these levels. Panchabhutas means everything that has gone into making the human body. So it keeps taking us back to what some of the points I've covered earlier. May I know what is the right kind of food to have, right kind of fluids that I can have, drink that I can have. May I be aware of what I'm putting into this mouth, what is going in that will be integrated into the Panchabhutas. Is that in the interest of my health or not? Is there sufficient physical exercise, physical movement or not? Am I overactive, restless, constantly seeking some movement? Or am I sluggish, unable to move? Am I able to keep my center, remain centered while I engage with the world? Is my mind all over the place? So the whole of our experience of ourself in our everyday life, the way we think, the emotions, the mental health, the emotional health, the physical health, our spiritual health. Now, for the well-being at all these levels, we pray to Kartikeya. And what are we asking for? May I have all of these gifts from you. May I be blessed by your energies so that I am able to create the kind of life that is enlivening for me, for the others around me, and the context in which we engage. So that's the focus for today's session. Take a moment if you need to write down quickly or just gather your thoughts around what I have said so far, what it means to you in your own life, in your personal context. What does this mean? Where in your personal context would all this be applicable? When I say lead a life that is energizing, that is dharmic, a life that is enlivening for me, for the people in front of me, and for the context, I am talking about the nature of of the environment that I engage in. Is that a healthy environment? Mentally, emotionally, physically, the way we talk to each other, the way we treat each other. Is it an environment that is healthy for everybody who lives in that environment, be it my home, be it my workplace, be it my social circle, any space, and my own body to begin with. So take a few minutes before I guide you through a short process just to consolidate these ideas. Take a few minutes and connect to where in your life context you think these ideas need to be applied. So if you're ready, I hope you were able to identify and relate to the ideas that I shared today with your life, with your life context. If there is no particular context in your own life where you wish to address this, then you can take into consideration the global context. So as always, I'd like you to sit back, close your eyes, make a choice, a decision that you do not wish to be distracted by anything happening around you. And for the next few minutes, you want to bring the whole of your mind, the whole of your focus and attention to the process that we are going to go through. At this point, there is nowhere else to go. There is nothing else to do. There's no other priority other than being fully present to acknowledge the basis of your own being, to recognize the basis of your own being. So let us begin by disengaging from all other distractions and bring your full attention to your breath. Even as you breathe consciously, take your attention to any part of your body that is moving in synchronicity with the breath, synchronized with the breath. As you observe your body moving with every inhale and exhale, bring to your awareness your own true identity. The combination of breath and body is indication of Shiva and Shakti. The invisible Shakti, which is your breath, held together in a form which is from Shiva. As you continue to focus on your body and breath, I'd like you to connect to today's story of Kartikeya, the divine child, a divine child who came into existence to fulfill a specific destiny. Connect to yourself as that divine child. Connect to yourself as the divine child. Every one of us here has come to fulfill our destiny. Our destiny, whoever we are, whatever is our context, whatever the circumstances of our life, our destiny is to do our best to clear our space, mind, body, environment, context. Clear our space of dark energies and allow the light from within to shine through our entire being. So that wherever we go, in whatever manner we engage, in whatever context we engage, Our inner light is spread and present all around us. And to that extent, we dissolve the darkness around us. You may interpret this in whatever it means for you in the context of your life. In your own context. Starting with just your own being, your physical health, emotional health, mental health, spiritual health. Extending to the people in your life. The context in which you engage with these people in your life. Whatever comes to your mind as what it means to be a being of light and shed this light through your actions, through your thoughts, through your attitudes, in all of these ways, whatever you consider as your destiny. Take a few moments to reflect on that. Each time, as this process is unfolding in your mind, every inhale is carrying energy to you from Katyayani. In my own context, small ways, big ways, what would it mean for me to live a dharmic life? A life that enlivens me, enlivens whoever I am with, enlivens the context in which we engage, I engage. Enlivens meaning brings life, brings light. You may have clarity right away. You may need to reflect further to start to gain clarity. It's perfectly okay. Today, I invite all of you to connect to this form of the goddess. These 6 mothers who came together as Katyayani, 6 mother energy, 6 motherly love. Addressing all the elements and this consciousness, nurturing the elements and the consciousness. Please connect to this idea of the goddess And with every inhale, visualize, imagine, experience her energy reaching you, flowing into you every time you inhale. Experience her energy filling up every cell in your body. And this entire time, hold this intention. Please bless me, Devi. Please energize me at all levels of my being. All the Panchabhutas in me, combined with my consciousness, which has come together to make me your divine child. I stand before you. Please bless me so that I may fulfill my destiny in establishing dharma in whatever way I understand it today. What is my swadharma, my dharma? Please bless me so that I may see it, know it, and I have the strength to do what it takes to fulfill it, to establish it. Hold this intention, just allow her energies to gush through you, filling up every nook and corner of your body, bringing you physical health, emotional health, mental health, along with clarity of mind. Experience the energy from Katyayani Devi flowing through you, filling up every nook and corner of your body until the whole of your being is glowing with that energy. Brilliant, bright. Repeating the intention. Devi, I see you. I see myself as your divine child. I come into your care. Please bless me with physical health, emotional health, mental health, and a sharp mind, so that I have the will and the strength to do whatever needs to be done to fulfill my destiny, to be able to establish, to first know and establish my dharma in my context. Let us all collectively connect to the globe, to the planet that is our home, our planet in totality, including all life forms, all forms of energy, nature. Please hold the globe between the palms of your hand. See yourself as a channel for the Devi's energies to reach the planet. Visualize, imagine, feel the energies flowing through the palms of your hands and flowing into the planet as you hold it. May these energies restore health, restore balance, at the physical level, emotional level, mental level, spiritual level of the entire planet. May the love of these six mothers reach all those wounded souls, wounded hearts, wounded bodies, wounded minds, that need this love, that need the healing. In the process, when you feel complete, Thank you all for joining me. Please continue to be in with your thoughts, with your prayers. And I'll see you all tomorrow again, same time.